Welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your Quizmaster Sean, and I've got questions for you. 100 of them about historical trivia. So let's take on the challenge, and let's give our brains a workout, shall we? Let's begin. Which global event in the early 20th century saw the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand as its immediate trigger? World War I, World War II, or the Russian Revolution? And that global event was World War I. What 13th century document limited the powers of English monarchs and became a cornerstone of constitutional law? The Bill of Rights, the Magna Carta, or the Declaration of Independence? It was the Magna Carta. What type of organism caused the infamous Black Death pandemic that devastated Europe in the 14th century? Was it a parasite, virus, or was it bacteria? It was bacteria. Which famous battle in 1066 marked the Norman conquest of England? The Battle of Hastings, the Battle of Agincourt, or the Battle of Waterloo? It was the Battle of Hastings. During which U.S. president's term was the Louisiana Purchase completed, doubling the size of the United States? George Washington's, Thomas Jefferson's, or James Madison's? It was during the terms of Thomas Jefferson. Which ancient civilization is credited with developing the first form of writing, known as cuneiform? Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, or the Indus Valley? It was Mesopotamia. What pivotal moment in 1492 led to the expansion of European influence into the Americas? Columbus' first voyage, the Treaty of Tordesillas, or the establishment of Jamestown? What pivotal moment in 1492? Columbus' first voyage. The famous Rosetta Stone, the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, was discovered under the rule of which European leader? Napoleon Bonaparte, Alexander the Great, or Charlemagne? The Rosetta Stone was discovered under the rule of Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1789, which landmark revolution drastically reshaped the political structure of France and inspired global movements? The French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, or the American Revolution? It was the French Revolution. Which ancient empire was ruled by leaders titled pharaohs and was known for its elaborate tombs? The Roman Empire, the Egyptian Empire, or the Persian Empire? And it was the Egyptian Empire. Which ruler established one of history's largest empires by uniting the Mongol tribes in the 13th century? Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, or Kublai Khan? It was Genghis Khan. The ancient Olympic Games were first held in Greece to honor which god from their pantheon? Zeus, Apollo, or Ares? And they were honoring Zeus. Which 16th century English queen earned the nickname Bloody Mary for her persecution of Protestants? Mary, Queen of Scots, Elizabeth I, or Mary I? And that would be Mary I. The Great Fire of London in 1666 reportedly began in a bakery located on which iconic street? Pudding Lane, Fleet Street, or Baker Street? The Great Fire of London began on Pudding Lane. Which historical event is considered the beginning of the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union? The Sputnik launch, the Apollo 2 landing, or the first manned spaceflight? It was the Sputnik launch. The Protestant Reformation, initiated by Martin Luther in 1517, famously began with the posting of which document? The Edict of Nantes, the 95 Theses, or the Diet of Worms? It was the 95 Theses. In his work, The Wealth of Nations, which 18th century Scottish economist is credited with laying the foundation for modern capitalism, was it Adam Smith, John Locke, or David Hume? It was Adam Smith. The Boston Tea Party of 1773 protested taxation policies imposed by Britain on which American colony? Pennsylvania, Virginia, or Massachusetts? And it was Massachusetts. The ancient Hanging Gardens of Babylon, considered a wonder of the world, were located in which modern-day country? Iraq, Egypt, or Syria? And it was Iraq. In 1945, which two Japanese cities were devastated by atomic bombs dropped by the United States during World War II? Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Tokyo and Osaka, or Kyoto and Kobe? It was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What treaty, signed in 1803, nearly doubled the size of the United States by acquiring territory from France? Was it the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, the Treaty of Paris, or Jay's Treaty? It was the Louisiana Purchase Treaty. The feudal system, prevalent in medieval Europe, revolved around land ownership in exchange for what kind of service? Religious offerings, financial taxation, or military protection? It was military protection. The term Iron Curtain symbolized the divide between which two political ideologies during the Cold War? Socialism and fascism, communism and capitalism, or democracy and monarchy? And that would be communism and capitalism. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 marked the rise of which powerful empire in Eastern Europe and the Middle East? The Persian Empire, the Byzantine Empire, or the Ottoman Empire? And that would be the Ottoman Empire. The American Civil War began in 1861 when Confederate forces attacked which Union fort? Fort Sumter, Fort Knox, or Fort Ticonderoga? And that would be Fort Sumter. Which Portuguese explorer was the first to reach India by sailing around Africa in 1498? Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan, or Bartolomeo Diaz? And that would be Vasco da Gama. The Great Wall of China was primarily constructed to protect against invasions from which nomadic group? The Mongols, the Huns, or the Tatars? The Great Wall of China was erected to protect from the Mongols. The Battle of Stalingrad during World War II is considered a turning point for which Allied nation? The Soviet Union, the United States, or was it the United Kingdom? The Battle of Stalingrad was a turning point for the Soviet Union. Which 19th century British monarch reigned during the height of the British Empire, earning an era named after them? Queen Elizabeth I, Queen Victoria, or was it King George IV? It was Queen Victoria. In 1773, which commodity became the focal point of American colonial protests leading to the Boston Tea Party? Was it tea? Was it sugar? Or was it cotton? It was tea. Which early 20th century invention revolutionized global communication and earned Guglielmo Marconi international acclaim? Was it the radio, the telegraph, or the telephone? It was the radio. The Viking settlement of Vinland, believed to be in modern-day Canada, was led by which Norse explorer? Leif Erikson, Eric the Red, or Ragnar Lothbrok? It was Leif Erikson. Which ancient war is known for the legendary story of a wooden horse used to infiltrate the city of Troy? The Trojan War, the Punic War, or was that part of the Peloponnesian War? That was the Trojan War. The Marshall Plan, introduced after World War II, aimed to rebuild which war-torn continent? Africa, Asia, or Europe? And the Marshall Plan aimed to rebuild Europe. Which dynasty, beginning in 618 AD, is credited with a golden age of culture and art in ancient China? Would that be the Tang Dynasty, the Ming Dynasty, or the Han Dynasty? And that would be the Tang Dynasty. What major discovery by James Watt in the 18th century powered the Industrial Revolution in Britain? Was it the combustion engine, the steam engine, or the electric motor? And that was the steam engine. The Edict of Milan in 313 AD granted religious freedom primarily to which religious group in the Roman Empire? Was it Christians, Jews, or pagans? And that edict gave religious freedom to Christians. Which 16th century empire was founded by Babur and ruled much of the Indian subcontinent for over 2 centuries? Was it the Maurya Empire, the Ottoman Empire, or the Mughal Empire? That would be the Mughal Empire. In 1922, Howard Carter made a historic discovery in Egypt of the nearly intact tomb of which pharaoh? Tutankhamun, Ramses II, or Akhenaten? And that was Tutankhamun. Tut. Who was the first female pharaoh of ancient Egypt, known for expanding Egypt's empire and her trade expeditions? Nefertiti, Hatshepsut, or Cleopatra? That first female pharaoh was Hatshepsut. In 1588, England's navy famously defeated the Spanish Armada, despite being outnumbered. What tactic helped them succeed? Was it trench warfare? Was it cavalry ambush? Or was it fire ships? It was fire ships. Which medieval city, now a UNESCO site, was ruled by merchants through its great council and famous for its canals? Venice, Bruges, or Genoa? And that city is Venice. During the Age of Exploration, which navigator's expedition first proved that the Earth could be circumnavigated? Henry Hudson, Christopher Columbus, or Ferdinand Magellan's crew. And that was Ferdinand Magellan's crew. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799, played a critical role in deciphering which ancient writing system? Egyptian hieroglyphs, Sumerian cuneiform, or Mayan glyphs? And that would be Egyptian hieroglyphs. What caused the downfall of the Aztec Empire in the early 16th century during Hernan Cortes' conquest? Smallpox outbreaks? Was it civil wars or perhaps severe droughts? Smallpox outbreaks. In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated at which historic battle that ended his rule permanently? Was it the battle in Leipzig, Trafalgar, or the Battle of Waterloo? It was the Battle of Waterloo. What was the main purpose of the Berlin Conference held in 1884-85, involving European powers and African territories? Partitioning Africa? Was it abolishing slavery, or uniting trade routes? It was about partitioning Africa. The Code of Hammurabi, one of the oldest legal codes, originated in which ancient Mesopotamian civilization? Was it Sumerian, Babylonian, or was it the Assyrian civilization? And that would be Babylonian. Who led the Haitian Revolution, which resulted in the abolition of slavery and Haiti's independence in 1804? Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Simon Bolivar, or Toussaint Louverture? It was Toussaint Louverture. The Treaty of Tordesillas, signed in 1494, divided newly discovered lands between which two European nations? Was it the Netherlands and Spain? Was it France and England? Or was it Spain and Portugal? It was Spain and Portugal. Which ruler of the Hellenistic period, known as the Great, spread Greek culture across 3 continents? Alexander the Great, Darius I, or was it Xerxes? It was Alexander the Great. The Meiji Restoration, which modernized Japan in the 19th century, began with the fall of which ruling shogunate? Ashikaga, Kamakura, or Tokugawa? It was Tokugawa. During World War II, the code-breaking efforts at Bletchley Park focused primarily on which German cipher machine? Was it Enigma, Lorenz, or was it Colossus? It was Enigma. The Terracotta Army, discovered in 1974, was created to protect which Chinese emperor in the afterlife? Qin Shi Huang, Han Gozu, or Wu Zetian? It was Qin Shi Huang. In the 13th century, Marco Polo traveled to the court of which Mongol ruler, documenting his experiences? Was it Kublai Khan? Was it Genghis Khan? Or was it Ogedei Khan? It was Kublai Khan. The Reconquista ended in 1492, when Spanish forces captured which final Muslim stronghold in Iberia? Cordoba, Granada, or Seville? It was Granada. During the Great Depression, which U.S. president initiated the New Deal to stabilize the economy? Was it Harry S. Truman? Was it Herbert Hoover? Or was it Franklin D. Roosevelt? And that would be the work of Franklin D. Roosevelt. The Zulu kingdom in South Africa rose to power under which 19th century warrior king known for his reforms? Dingane, Quechua, or Shaka Zulu? It was Shaka Zulu. In the 18th century, the Boston Massacre escalated tensions between American colonists and which ruling power? Was it Great Britain? Was it France? Or was it Spain? It heightened tensions with Great Britain. The architectural marvel of the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul was originally built as what type of religious structure? The Christian cathedral, an Islamic mosque, or a Zoroastrian temple? It was a Christian cathedral. Which historical figure's assassination in Sarajevo in 1914 sparked the beginning of World War I? Otto von Bismarck, Gavrilo Princip, or Archduke Franz Ferdinand? It was Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648 marked the conclusion of which destructive European war? The Napoleonic Wars, the 30 Years' War, or the 100 Years' War? It marked the conclusion of the 30 Years' War. Who was the first emperor of unified Germany, crowned in 1871 after the Franco-Prussian War? Was it Wilhelm I? Was it Otto von Bismarck? Or Frederick III? It was Wilhelm I. What key feature made the Viking longships an unparalleled innovation in naval warfare and exploration? Iron plating for defense? Large sails for speed? Or was it shallow draft for rivers? It was shallow draft for rivers. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, was primarily intended to limit the powers of which English king? Was it King John? Was it King Richard I? Or was it King Henry II? It was King John. Which major global empire built the city of Persepolis and was ruled by leaders like Cyrus and Darius? The Byzantine Empire, the Persian Empire, or was it the Ottoman Empire? It was the Persian Empire. What ancient war, fought between Athens and Sparta, ended with the defeat of Athens in 404 BCE? Was it the Peloponnesian War? Was it the Persian War? Or was it the Trojan War? It was the Peloponnesian War. The Bolshevik Revolution in 1917 led to the overthrow of which Russian royal dynasty? Was it the Stroganov dynasty, the Rurikid dynasty, or was it the Romanov dynasty? It was the Romanov dynasty. Which city served as the capital of the Byzantine Empire and later became Istanbul under Ottoman rule? Constantinople, Antioch, or was it Ephesus? And it was Constantinople. What discovery by James Watt in the 18th century transformed industry during the Industrial Revolution? Was it the mechanical loom, electricity generation, or steam engine improvements? It was steam engine improvements. Which ancient Greek philosopher founded the Academy in Athens and taught Aristotle? Was it Plato, Socrates, or Heraclitus? And that would be Plato. During the American Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg marked a turning point in favor of which side? Neutral territories, Union forces, or Confederate forces? And that would be the Union forces. The Opium Wars of the 19th century were primarily fought between China and which European power? Portugal, France, or Great Britain? And that would be Great Britain. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door, sparking which religious movement? The Protestant Reformation, Counter-Reformation, or was it the Great Schism? It was the Protestant Reformation. Which city was famously sacked by the Visigoths in 410 CE, marking a key moment in the fall of Rome? Was it Carthage? Was it Rome? Or was it Constantinople? It was Rome. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 involved the United States and the Soviet Union over missiles placed in which country? Venezuela, Turkey, or was it Cuba? It was Cuba. The famous Mayan city of Chichen Itza features an iconic pyramid dedicated to which deity? Kukulkan, Chak, or Ixchel? And that would be Kukulkan. Which treaty, signed in 1919, imposed harsh reparations on Germany after World War I? Was it the Treaty of Versailles, the Treaty of Trianon, or was it the Treaty of Paris? It was the Treaty of Versailles. The Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed a large part of the city, but ended the spread of which earlier calamity? Was it the Spanish Armada, the 100 Years' War, or was it the Great Plague? It was the Great Plague. Who was the influential French queen nicknamed the Mother of Kings, ruling during France's 16th century religious wars? Was it Eleanor of Aquitaine, Anne of Brittany, or Catherine de' Medici? It was Catherine de' Medici. The Zulu kingdom, led by Shaka Zulu in the early 19th century, was located in which present-day country? Was it Nigeria, South Africa, or Kenya? And that modern-day country is South Africa. What ancient Mesopotamian ruler is known for the creation of one of the first written legal codes? Was it Hammurabi, Sargon of Akkad, or Ashurbanipal? It was Hammurabi. During the 16th century, Hernan Cortes led the Spanish conquest of which indigenous empire in the Americas? Was it the Mayan Empire, the Inca Empire, or was it the Aztec Empire? It was the Aztec Empire. What naval battle in 1805 established British naval dominance and saw the death of Admiral Nelson? Was it the Battle of Trafalgar, the Battle of Jutland, or the Battle of the Nile? It was the Battle of Trafalgar. Which empire's downfall in 1453 marked the end of the medieval Byzantine period? The Ottoman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, or the Mongol Empire? It was the Ottoman Empire. The invention of the printing press in 1440 is attributed to which German goldsmith? Johannes Gutenberg, Martin Luther, or Albrecht Dürer? And that was invented by Johannes Gutenberg. The Taj Mahal was commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of which family member? His wife Mumtaz Mahal, his daughter Jahanara Begum, or his mother Arjamand Banu Begum. It was his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Which conflict between Britain and the United States was ended by the Treaty of Ghent in 1814? Was it the Revolutionary War, the 7 Years' War, or the War of 1812? That would be the War of 1812. Which ancient Egyptian queen was known for her alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony? Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, or Cleopatra? And that would be Cleopatra. What historical ship carried the Pilgrims to the New World in 1620, famously landing at Plymouth Rock? The HMS Victory, the Santa Maria, or was it the Mayflower? It was the Mayflower. Who was the famous Renaissance artist who painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City? Was it Raphael? Was it Michelangelo? Or was it Leonardo da Vinci? It was Michelangelo. The Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE was a key conflict between which two ancient civilizations? Was it the Greeks and the Persians, the Romans and the Carthaginians, or was it the Egyptians and the Hittites? It was the Greeks and the Persians. The Industrial Revolution began in which European country during the late 18th century, transforming manufacturing processes? Was it France? Was it Germany? Or was it England? It was England. Which ancient civilization is credited with the invention of the first known system of writing in 3200 BCE? Was it the Babylonians? Was it the Sumerians? Or was it the Egyptians? It was the Sumerians. Which famous American president led the country during the Civil War and delivered the Gettysburg Address? Was it Abraham Lincoln? Was it George Washington? Or was it Thomas Jefferson? It was Abraham Lincoln. The ancient city of Petra, known for its rock-cut architecture, is located in which modern-day country? Is it Syria, Egypt, or Jordan? Petra is located in Jordan. The Great Wall of China, constructed to protect against invasions, was mainly built during which dynasty? Was it the Han Dynasty, the Qin Dynasty, or the Tang Dynasty? It was the Qin Dynasty. What was the name of the ship that carried the first English settlers to America in 1607, landing in Virginia? The Susan Constant, the Mayflower, or was it Discovery? It was Susan Constant. Which major event in 1789 led to the downfall of France's monarchy and the beginning of the French Revolution? Was it the storming of the Bastille, the Battle of Waterloo, or the Reign of Terror? It was the storming of the Bastille. And now question 100. In 1990, which historic event marked the end of apartheid and the beginning of South Africa's democratic transition? Was it the end of the Cold War? Was it the fall of the Berlin Wall? Or was it Nelson Mandela's release? It was Nelson Mandela's release. Thank you for playing Quiz Time. Drop your score in the comments, please, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss Quiz Time when it comes out. We love playing Quiz Time with you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.